All right, so here we are, the last exercise on the Triad Exercises sheet. Here is really trying to combine it all and play these kind of exercises over chord progressions. You know, we're really starting to round on this idea of making music, of improvising melodies. For now, it's still not probably going to sound like the hottest things you've ever played, but really, really strong melodies that really reinforce chord sounds. It's really crazy important that you sing while you play. It's really important that you try to predict each change with your ear. You know, the sounds of these progressions should be like the sound of a tune that you could just bring to mind whenever you need it. And really, until you have memorized the sounds of chord progressions in that way, your improvisations will never be that great because you're fumbling in the dark. You're trying to respond to what the music is telling you rather than knowing where it's going to go and directing your melody towards it. So, sing everything you play. We're going to follow the same work pattern. Start in one position, master one position. Move to the next position, master that position. Combine positions. If all is going well, move to the next position, master that position, combine positions. It's about gradually increasing the workload, only when you feel you are capable of doing it. There is no point in trying to go to all three positions immediately. It will likely be very, very strenuous for you and it will make your practice not very fun. These are supposed to be fairly doable, right? So what we need to do is do them in each position, get good at each position, and then see if we can move between them. So for this exercise, I'm just over here looking at the various chord progressions we could do. I'm going to choose a 2-5-1. That's the one that leaped out at me. So 2-5-1 in the key of C, that will be the chords D minor, G, C. This is the cornerstone of jazz. This is a kind of movement we will see a lot in music. It's also a diatonic circle of fourths, you know, D minor, G to C. And that's a really common musical movement. Okay, so what's that's going to look like? We're going to look at that down here in kind of the open position. That would be D minor. This is the D minor first inversion. G, second inversion. C, first inversion. So we practice that for a bit. Adding a bit of rhythm is really, really important to making things sound like music. You know, if you practice all of these things like, sorry, starting on the right chord. Then it's going to be dull. It's not going to sound a great deal like music and it's less fun to engage with. If you need to start there, in order to make yourself feel safe and secure and know that you're, you know, starting from a low point, that's fine. You know, it just means that the next step for you would be adding rhythm rather than, say, arpeggiating or moving to a new position. Okay, let's try the same thing, but arpeggiating. Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident. So, we'll take it up to the next position. D minor, 2, 5, 1. D minor, G, C. Okay, so we start with block chords and some rhythm. Alright, you might notice I'm using a little bit of chromatic shifting up and down. It creates a little bit of interest. You can join any note from any chord to another note, either in that chord or in another chord chromatically, and it will always sound good. There are some caveats on that, but it's a good way of starting. So if you see D minor here, and you want to go down to G, we could use a chromatic line, which will sound great. So that might sound like... there I used a couple of chromatic lines. I used a chromatic line coming down from the 3rd of D minor, and we chromatically came down to the 5th of G. So in my mind when I was playing, I see this shape and I see this shape, and I think, ooh, that's a gap. I could fill that up with notes. Okay. Similarly, sometimes when I was coming from the G back to the C, I would chromatically approach the 3rd here. Okay, they're cute little tricks to add just a little bit of flavor while we're just using plain triad notes. Okay, you've got to do that in all of your positions, get comfortable in each of your positions, and then we want to expand it to using more positions, right? Here it is using 2 positions. Oh, sorry, I forgot I'm doing a 2-5-1, that was C. Starting on the 2 chord. Alright, similarly, you then expand it out to 3 positions when you're done. Alrighty guys, let me know how it goes.